Welcome to another episode of the Storm the Court Pod. I'm Zane Ellis, and I just finished watching the Toronto Raptors take on the Portland Trail Blazers. You might think I'm nuts, but I really believe that tonight's performance might just be the wake-up call this Raptors team desperately needed. For context, this game had a bit of pressure. Both of these teams are on the outside looking in for that play-in tournament spot. So you know tempers and tensions were running high. There was a recent loss for the Raptors against the Bulls that's probably still stinging, and the Blazers were coming off a win against Atlanta, riding that momentum. It felt like a litmus test for both teams, especially considering the playoff implications, or rather, the frantic scramble to avoid the bottom of the lottery. Now, looking at the game recap, the Raptors fell to the Trailblazers 112-103. This wasn't a runaway by any means, but it was disappointing all the same. The Blazers were in control for most of the game, showcasing some solid strategy and execution, while the Raptors just couldn't find their rhythm, just like that shot you take at 2 a.m., thinking your friends will get it, but they don't. As for my emotions watching, it was a roller coaster for sure. I felt frustration when shots were missed, amusement with some silly turnovers, and ultimately, that uncomfortable optimism when that bench came alive briefly, but then, bam, defeatism snuck in as Portland kept pulling away in the fourth quarter. Let's get into the stud and dud of the night. For the stud, I've got to give it to Shaedon Sharpe. The young gun dropped 36 points, hitting 60% of his shots. He was crucial. Every time the Raptors got a little too close, he was there knocking down clutch buckets. Now, on the flip side, the dud of the night goes to Scottie Barnes, who had just 5 points on 25% shooting. It's tough seeing a young star struggle, but tonight felt like one of those nights when he's just off and can't seem to shake it, right? We've seen it before, and the kid's got talent, but man, those nights can be tough to watch. All right, big fact versus big cap time. The narrative around the Raptors is that they're just too inconsistent to make any serious noise this season, and sure, I tend to agree with that. But I think there's a little more to it. They're sort of a classic case of a team that's finding its rhythm, but it's just not happening fast enough. Like, how many times have we seen a team piece things together late only to fall short? This could be a pivotal point if they can regroup. But right now, that's just talk, so maybe more big cap than big fact at this moment. So, what's next for these teams? The Blazers surely have a chance to build momentum, especially with their struggling road record. If they can get a few more pieces back together, who knows what could happen? The Raptors, on the other hand, need to look inward and address their inconsistencies. They have the talent, just need to execute. We'll be back soon with more.